Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the High Ticket Coaching and Consultant Strategy and Growth Show. Now, if you listen to this interview anywhere else but within our private Facebook community called High Ticket Client Attraction Insider Circle, then definitely come check us out. We definitely love to have you. And that community was put together specifically for coaches, consultants, and service providers who are serious about getting up to that 6 and that 7 figure level. So if that's you, definitely come check us out. Now, today, as you know, my name is Exus Justin, and today I want to introduce you to another one of the members of our community, Jodie. Welcome, Jodie.
Hi, thank you so much for having me, Extus. I appreciate it. I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. You're welcome. So, Jodie, tell the community members, what is it that you do?
I am a mental wellness coach and certified hypnotherapist, and I really work with people and especially entrepreneurs actually to help them to get unstuck. So I help them tap into the power of their subconscious mind so that they can tap into that inner wisdom and really find the answers they need to get clarity and confidence so they can move forward in their business and up level in all areas of their life, really.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. And what's your backstory? So, before you got into doing this type of work, what did you do before?
So I've had kind of a long journey so far. I've been working therapeutically for about 20 years. And how that all started is my background is social and clinical psychology. And when I was in graduate school, that's when I became a hypnotherapist. And during that time, of course, I was a broke grad student and had no time and no money. And I actually started my very first business. I actually started in direct sales in a beauty industry kind of company. And so I was a professional beauty consultant by night and on the weekends to pay off those 6 figures in student loans. And that's really when I learned how to run a business. I'd always wanted to have my own private practice someday. And so it was a really great opportunity. At that point, I ended up getting married and moving a couple times. And when I landed, I found myself having had moved up in that company to the top 1% and really more in leadership development. And that got me really interested in being a business coach. And so I took some business coaching classes and did some certifications and found that I really enjoyed it. And basically did that for the last 14 years. And then just in 2019, decided my two worlds could merge. I wanted to have a lifestyle shift. My husband and I decided to move out into the country, into the mountains, and build our dream home, and didn't want the commute. We didn't want the hustle and bustle of the city anymore. And so I took that opportunity to say, you know what? I see all of these entrepreneurs who I'm working with on their businesses and they feel stuck and they maybe know exactly what they're supposed to do, but they couldn't get themselves to do it and they couldn't figure out why and they got really frustrated. And I knew from my other life, I'd always worked alongside of my side business, so to speak, right, my side hustle, of working with entrepreneurs. I was still working therapeutically in all different areas with mentoring teens and working with addicts and all of these different things. And I thought, gosh, I have all these skills and on the therapy side, I know how to help these people, but that's not really what I was doing in the business coaching world. And so I melded the two together to create my dream, which was always to have a private practice and work from home. And so I was virtual before the pandemic and decided that I wanted to add the hypnotherapy piece into my coaching so that I could help them get past those blocks. So that's
Mhm.
really how it all came together. And so it's only been, like I said, the last year that I merged those two worlds, and it's been amazing.
Mhm. Awesome, love it. Good stuff, good stuff. So, what about so in sales? Because you said one of your
Mhm.
first core roles was in sales, right? Do
Mhm.
you find yourself as a natural saleswoman? Did you enjoy it?
It sounds funny, but I hated sales. When I was a kid, I quit Girl Scouts before we had to sell cookies because I wanted nothing to do with it. And whenever we had little things that we're supposed to sell and fundraise in school, I made my grandparents buy all the candy bars so that I didn't have to sell anything. And so, what I think more than the sales part for me, because now I love sales, but it was about building the relationships with people. And that was what I was really natural at. And so I was a shyer person when I started my first business, and when I was, moving up in my therapeutic career as well. And so, working one-on-one, I was more comfortable. And then it was smaller groups. And now I can speak in front of anybody and I'm more comfortable. But it really was baby steps and realizing that I could use my strengths in those areas, that I didn't have to not be me, that I could really be focused on the other person rather than focused on myself. And that's really was my misconception of sales, was that you were pushing something on someone that maybe they didn't want or need. But my success in sales has actually been in focusing on the other person and what they do need and offering that to them, which, as we know, is really what it's all about. So I would say I'm reformed, and now sales is one of my passions, and I love it, and I teach other people how to do it.
Yeah, yeah, good stuff, good stuff. I was just imagining you with your grandparents having to sell them on the candy. Did you have like a complete game plan of how you got them to buy all the candy from you? It's like, hey, listen, grandpa, hey, here's some map. If you, I'll send you all this candy, and then you could sell it for a profit and go out there and sell this, right? Is that how you did
Exactly. Yeah. I obviously was a natural salesperson because I sold them on that idea.
it?
So I just didn't know it yet, right?
Yeah, yeah. Good stuff, good stuff. So based on where you are right now, if you had to like condense everything you've kind of learned and really done over the past 3 years that's gotten you to where you are today, what would you say are maybe three, four principles that you'd say, okay, these are the core things I did that's got me to where I am?
Um, Definitely working on myself and investing in myself. So that is one of the things that I truly believe in. I believe I love learning. I believe in education and just always evolving
Right.
and growing. And every experience you can learn from and take something with you. And so that is something I think is pivotal for me. So just always using everything you do, even if it's negative, as a learning experience and growing on that. And then I also believe that it really is about having a clear vision, knowing what you really want, and really being dedicated to that vision. And that a lot of times is about your life, having that vision for your lifestyle and what you want, because our businesses are really a way to get that, right? So being very clear and taking time to figure out what that is, because unless you have something you're going for, you're just always going to be shooting in the dark. So that is something that I also feel like has been very important for me. And then surrounding myself with like-minded people and making sure that I'm surrounding myself with that support system. I didn't always have it, right? At the beginning, sometimes we don't always have people around us who are cheering us on and telling us we can do it, especially in our circle that we grew up with. And they want to protect you, and it's different than what they're doing. And so seeking out that circle and creating that of people who have been where I want to go, or are going where I want to go. And those were the people that I talked to about my goals and my dreams and all the things I was going through, building my business. It wasn't the people who couldn't really relate and didn't understand. So those are a few things that I think are really important for everyone, moving forward if you want to grow.
Yeah, yeah. And having that support system, I love what you just said about it because at the end of the day, it's really, as the saying goes, you look at your five closest friends, and that's basically the quality of your life, the quality of your relationship, and all of those different things. And if you're surrounded by individuals who they're not supportive, then doesn't matter how optimistic, how great you are, that's gonna seep upon you, and you're gonna not be able to perform. And then next thing you know, you're making excuses for why this would make sense or you can't do this. Versus when you do have that real solid support system of individuals who they're on that path and they could help guide you right.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that I teach my clients is to make a list of those people. And now a lot of the people that we hang around the most are virtual, and you create your virtual world. That's the thing that I think people sometimes miss, is they'll say, oh, Facebook's so negative, or this is so negative. I'm like, I don't know what Facebook you have, but when I open mine, it's full of positivity and people who are doing things and moving. And you know, growing, because that's who I surround myself with. We get to choose what is in our space. And so I tell my clients to make a list of those people that they're hanging around the most and what is coming in to their minds, and really discern, are they making you feel better about yourself after you spend time with them, worse, or just kind of equal? It's fine. But anybody who's making anybody or anything, because of course now we have so much information coming at us from all sources, that is making you feel worse afterwards, you should limit or cut out if possible. And I'm not a big advocate of, cutting out family members and things like that, but I do believe that you can limit certain kinds of conversations with them, or certain times. I know for me personally, when I was moving up in my business, my um, you know circle in my family wasn't always, some people weren't always cheerleaders. And so I just limited that more and just said, you know what, I'm not going to share that with them. And that's okay for that season. But then when they see the success, they're all on board, it seems like.
Yeah, yeah. It's so interesting how at first individuals think they're trying to protect you from, I'm not sure what they think they're trying to protect you from, but trying to not have you go out and take the risk, do that thing that you want to do. And they'll talk you out of it, right? Versus when you do feel that success, I mean, some other places where it's like, I always knew you could do this and da, 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 all these different things, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, yeah. They were like, oh, I knew she could do it all along.
Mhm. Yeah, awesome. So what about habits, right? What do you believe is one habit that someone, if they practiced, that it would help them improve their quality of life, improve the journey that they're currently on?
I'm a huge believer in morning and evening routines. And I know that's kind of two, but I truly believe that setting yourself up for the day and then setting yourself up for the next day is really important. And so making sure that you have things like a gratitude journal, that you have good positive things that are coming into your mind, that you're brain dumping all of the chatter that goes on, that you are taking some time for yourself, some quiet time. Self-care, I guess, is what I would say is that particular habit. It's just really carving out, even if it's a half hour or an hour, just time for yourself to get yourself in the right headspace every single day. I think is really, really important.
Yeah, and that's so critical. Morning and evening routines. It's so I'm not sure who I heard, but someone said that, which is the but those are really the only two parts of our day that we control. The morning when we first get up and the evening right before we go to bed. I think the way he described was, if you want to tell, if you want to, the quickest way, the best way to make God laugh is to show him your plans for the day. Yes.
Oh, that's so true. You never know what's going to happen in between those two. And so if you set yourself up mentally for that,
Mhm.
then it will all be okay, right? You just reset at the end of the day and set yourself up in the morning. And then it doesn't matter what happens, you can roll with it and you'll make it work. But if you take care of yourself first and your mindset first, I always believe that that is going to be such a tremendous asset to you. I know I wasn't always the least emotional person. I'm an intuitive empath. I, grew up very emotional. I would take on other people's feelings, and that was a skill that I really had to strengthen. Was saying, you know what, that's a strength of mine, and being empathic is a huge asset to what I do. But I needed to build that resilience and that core to just say, you know what, I am going to control my emotions, and whatever comes my way, I can handle it. And so I truly believe that self-care routine in the morning and the evening really helps me stabilize and just be okay with no matter what comes my way. And I do work with a lot of people who are going through stress and trauma and anxiety and all sorts of things. And so being strong through that and really now teaching that emotional strength and that emotional empowerment is a huge part of what I do because I went through such a journey in that. And so, yeah, that morning and evening, like you said, that's all we can control. And that's what I believe is that you really have to focus on what can you control,
Yeah.
and what you can't, you need to just let it go and roll with the waves.
Yeah, yeah, that's so interesting too. Because in one of the things I do in my own business as well too, for our clients, we have like a morning call, like 6 a.m., and we all get together just to kind of map out what we want to do. And the core thing we start off with, which is that just your emotional state, right? That's one of the things that where doesn't matter what's happening out there or with anyone else or all those different things. That's a one place where I believe you really have to determine how you want to feel, what emotions you want to lead with, and then almost like practice that. Doesn't matter what's happening, but just practice that. So when you do get in these situations, you could come from a frame of these are what I've chosen, these are my emotions I like to feel, and doesn't matter what happens, I could just live through that, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. You can't choose what happens, but you can choose how you react to what
Hmm.
happens. So, yeah, I think that's great that you start your calls off with that. That's wonderful.
Yeah, good stuff, good stuff. So tell me, with your clients, what does a typical engagement look like as someone works with you?
So, I have a few different options. I work one on one, where I have client sessions and I mix, like I had mentioned earlier, the coaching and the hypnotherapy together. So I actually have longer sessions. So typically we do 2 hour long sessions. We'll talk a little bit at the beginning, figure out what's going on, and then we do a hypnosis session. And if anybody has ever taken a yoga class, for example, where the last 5 minutes of a yoga class, they have you lay back on your mat and you do some deep breathing and you're just focused on your body, but you're aware of everything going on around you, even with your eyes closed, right? It's just like that. You're just going a little bit deeper into that state that we all go in and out of every day when you're waking up, when you're going to sleep. If you're driving somewhere and you go on autopilot and you just kind of intuitively know where to go, but you're thinking about something else, that really is that same state of mind. And so it's just bringing down their defenses. So we have, I would say, this block in the front of our mind. It's that part of your mind that always has a comeback. When you say, "Oh, I want to do this," well, why do you think you can do that? You know, what makes you think that that'll work this time, or whatever it is. I help them calm that part down. And so we really just calm that down so I can help guide them and ask them coaching questions through tapping into that inner wisdom of the answers are inside of them. What are they? Right? So we can really make some decisions and figure out what the core of what's going on is so that they can make a plan to get through it. And then at the end, we um, basically review what we went over. They remember everything. They're in control the whole time. I like to tell my clients that because as entrepreneurs, a lot of us like to be in control of things, right? That's why we don't work for someone else. And so I like them to know you remember everything. You're in control the whole time. If you don't want to tell me something, you don't have to. You can control that. It's okay. But they really get their defenses down and we're able to work through things instead of just talking in circles. And so that's what a session with me typically looks like. And then I do also have an emotional empowerment course that's an 8-week course with some group coaching that people can participate in, as well as a group hypnotherapy program where we have a different topic each month. So we've done things like opening yourself to prosperity, decision making, taking a mental reset for yourself and mental breaks, all sorts of different interesting topics where we do a guided group session and then a group coaching session as well. And those are all hour long. And so I have a few different options, but I have a lot of clients who start doing one-on-one sessions with me and then move into my other programs as they don't need quite so much support, but they still want to stay connected and have that support on a lower level.
Hmm. Good stuff. Now, what about if someone listened to this here and they're like, man, what Jody just shared with her, us here, this is some amazing stuff. I'd love to find out more and see what this journey could take us. What's the best way for someone to be able to reach out and connect?
I have a website and Facebook is a really great way as well. I have Facebook and Instagram. I have all the things really. I know you're going to put some links out, but my business is called Psyched Up Success. So a little of that psychology, right, with the success. And so my website is psychedupsuccess.com, or they can find me just under Jodie Solberg personally. That's absolutely fine. Or on my Psyched Up Success business page, and on Instagram under the same name. And so, yeah, I would love for anyone who has questions or would like to take advantage. I give unstuck strategy sessions where I'll do a little 30-minute call. We can figure out where they're stuck and give them a few concrete tips on how to get unstuck. I'd love to offer that to anybody who's interested and would like to send me a message.
Awesome. Love it, Jodie. Well, hey, thank you so much for making the time to be here today. Really appreciate it, of you sharing what it is that you do with the community and getting them to know a bit about you. Do you have any final thoughts before we end?
My final thoughts are that, you know what, if they're here, they're in the right place. They really are investing in themselves and they're surrounding themselves with people who are where they want to be. And so I'm just very honored and privileged to be here. Thank you for having me with you today and also a part of your community. And I'll look forward to seeing everyone in your group.
Awesome. Love it, Jodie. Well, hey, thank you again for stopping by, and we'll talk soon, okay?
Thank you.
Awesome. Have a good one.
You too.